Hi YouTube, it's Sticky Plasters here, and it's Sunday the 17th of February 2013. I hope you're all really well. I hope you've all had a really good week. I am back for my second video of my return to vlogging my weight loss journey. And just journey through life, really, for all its ups and downs. I don't know if I'll make a video every week. I don't know if I'll have something to say every week. Maybe I'll just check in anyway as a kind of accountability tool. I don't know. Let's just see how it goes. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's been going on in my head this week. Just to get your feedback on it, to listen to how you guys manage some of this stuff in your journey. And I think, as is quite often the case, kind of what's happening in terms of my weight loss surgery and trying to deal with that is mirrored in other areas of my life. And I guess I don't know what comes first, really, whether you can kind of apply some of your thought process to the weight loss journey to other areas of your life, or whether it happens the other way around. But I'll explain what I mean and stop being quite so vague. So I've been thinking a lot this week about choices and decisions that we make, and I guess for me about balance, about trying to achieve some kind of balance. I feel like I'm trying to work towards potentially some quite big changes in my life. So I'm trying to get to several places, and I'm working towards those things at the same time. And it always seems to me that you almost always have to kind of speculate to accumulate. So you almost always have to kind of give something up now to get something later, to get somewhere later, to achieve a goal. At the moment, for me, that is about weight loss. So, you know, that's fairly straightforward in terms of food. So yeah, absolutely, I can eat that cake, I can eat that whatever bag of crisps or whatever, but it will slow me down in terms of my ultimate goal, which is kind of over here, which is my bigger goal. So you can kind of have one or the other, and that feels quite extreme. And that's what I mean when I say trying to come up with balance. So in terms of other stuff going on, so money, for example. So I'm trying to work really hard at the moment to get myself into a situation where I feel more kind of financially comfortable, a little bit more solvent. There's sort of a few debts hanging around, bits and pieces that I really just want to get rid of. I really want to be in a situation where I feel like kind of the decks are cleared, and that as much as is possible, what I'm bringing home each month is working for me the way that I want it to be, and I'm back in a position where I can start saving, and I don't know what that saving is for yet. I don't know if that saving is going to be for buying my own home, or whether that saving is just going to continue to be towards kind of completely getting rid of any kind of debt at all, whether that saving is going to be about collating that money so that maybe once every 2 or 3 months I can go and do some travel. And again, it becomes about, well, okay, so to do that, to reach that goal, that's a really nice pair of shoes. They're pretty, and I'd quite like those. However, if I buy them, it will slow down me reaching my ultimate goal. It doesn't stop it, it just sort of slows it down. And that brings me back to the quote that I put on my last video, which is don't give up what you want most for what you want now. There is an accountability to that, a sort of measurement that we all take, or probably should take, and probably less of us do, less often than we should, where actually before you pick that up, whatever it is, whether it's food that you're putting in your mouth, or whether it's money that you're about to spend or whatever, to actually pause for long enough to think about, what is this truly costing me in terms of my long-term goals. And those are thoughts I'm having at the moment, and some of that's been really helpfully crystallised by some links that Andrew Bound a holler. Hi Andrew, thank you so much. Sent me some really great links to a lady who I've just realised I didn't actually think about her name before I started talking about her. I want to say Vicky Robin. I'll put a link to it or something. Quite an old program called Your Money or Your Life anyway. If you Google it, there's some really interesting videos about that. And I've actually ordered the book because I think it looks like a really interesting way of, just a really interesting thing to read. And my understanding of that is that it does actually make you look at the true cost of what you're doing. The true cost, not just the price that's on the label, not just the amount of calories that are on that food label or the amount of carbs that are in it, but what is the true cost. So in terms of calories, for example, you know, I might pick up, I don't know, a small cake that might be, I don't know, 150 calories or whatever. I might conceivably be able to put that into my day quite happily and still work around that. That's fine. However, am I then going to be loaded with carbs that are then going to be screaming at me for the rest of the day, making me want more carbs? So actually the cost of that becomes much higher than that one cake, becomes much more than that 150 calories, because it has a much longer impact. Mentally, if I've let myself have that today, does that mean I'm going to let myself have it tomorrow? Does it mean that then I'm going to let myself have 3 the day after? Is it a slippery slope, or can I keep that balance? And I don't actually have the answers to these things. These are kind of questions that I'm putting out there to you guys to see what you do, how you manage, how you think about these things. I watch some people's videos, and they are very, very good at quite long stints of extreme focus, where there's no deviation at all, nothing. You know, it's absolutely military the way they can go at something. Until they get to that goal, and then that's, you know, massively impressive to me, but not something that I've ever been any good at. I tend to be quite good at short spurts of that, and then what happens is I tend to fall quite badly back down, and then I have to get back onto the military thing. And what I'd like to achieve for me is somewhere in between the two. So my dad, bless his heart, he always used to say, if you were buying something, if you were getting a workman in to do something, you got somebody coming to, I don't know, fix your roof or plaster your walls or whatever, he would always say, go for the bloke in the middle, go for the middleman, because the bloke that's charging you the most is trying to rip you off, and the bloke that's charging you the least is probably crap and just trying to get the job. The bloke in the middle is probably a reasonable guy with a reasonable skill trying to earn a living. It's a massive generalisation, obviously, the wisdom of my dad. But I have to say, it's something that I still think about, you know, now, clearly, and it is something that it kind of rings true for me. I think most things in life, if you think about it, you know, everything from buying coffee to cars to even to the things that we eat. For me, what I seek is that thing in the middle. So you know, what I'm trying to live as a life is that predominantly what I'm doing is I'm making really good choices for myself. I'm making really good choices around my food and my fluid and all of that. But what I don't want to do is do that at the cost of missing the moment, of missing my life, because I'm so focused on all of that. So last night, for example, I went out. I haven't been out for ages. Haven't been out drinking for ages, just haven't been out for ages. And that meant two things for me. One of which was that it meant that on Sunday I quite purposefully set about eating pasta and carbohydrates. Not an easy thing for a lap bander to do, I know. Not something that we really want to be doing on a regular basis. But I was aware of the fact that I could only eat a little bit, and I wanted to have a few drinks, and I didn't want to, A, not be able to have a couple of drinks, B, feel sick as a dog after two, So I wanted to make sure that I had something in my tummy that could support, you know, reasonable drinking. And when I say reasonable, I think I probably managed about 3.5 drinks, which sounds probably a little bit pathetic, but for me, that's quite a lot. So I quite specifically went out of my way to do that. Now the meal that I had, which I had half for lunch and half in the evening, it was just a ready meal, a pasta carbonara. And it was about 400 calories. So in terms of calorific intake, it was pretty reasonable. But then obviously I was drinking last night as well. So, you know, health-wise, physical health-wise, probably not the best day in the world. In terms of my mental health, it was absolutely the best thing I could have done. You know, I haven't been out for